What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're all doing well today. Today I'm excited to bring you my top carried knives from July, which means it's already August? What? I don't know what happened to July. I don't know what is happening to this year. It is just going way too fast. So what I'm going to do is just kind of go through my top carries, talk a little bit about why I like them or why I feel like they're in the top carry for the month of July. And today, as a little bit of a bonus, instead of doing honorable mentions, I'm actually going to do my top 3 companion carries first. My companion carries either end up in the 5th pocket of a jean or they end up in an organizer, which is down in the pocket. So first up is the Banter. This one here has the S35VN blade, as they all do, I believe, but I did grab the marbled carbon fiber because I just really like the way that at some angles it looks like it has a little bit of green. I don't know if that'll translate in the camera. Then you can see the silvers and then you can see the blacks. Just a really nice looking knife. To me, this one is a perfect companion carry because of the fact that it is small enough to go down in the pocket or in the 5th pocket or in an organizer, and it's still big enough to get a full 4-finger grip. It has a nice utility shape to it, plenty of belly, so as you can see it does get a little bit of work, which that black stonewash really does help mask the scarring or the markings from using the knife. But really a great 5th pocket carry. I'll leave that out here just for the 5th pocket carry knives. I also had to kind of zoom back in a little bit. I was noticing that when I was trying to do the wide angle on this particular camera, for some reason it loses some of its resolution and it comes through a little bit blurry. All right, let's keep going. Number 2 honorable mention / companion carry this month is going to be the Savivi Thug 2. No surprise here, I do like this knife, but the reason that this one got so much pocket time, in addition to the fact that it's pretty comparable to the Banter as far as how compact it is, but how much you can do with it, is because I was trying to carry it as much as possible before pushing out a review on it to make sure, I had good thoughts and impressions on the knife to share with you. And a little bit different this month, which I'm probably going to do going forward, is I immediately followed that up with a breakdown so you can see the inside, talked about the tools that I used, and my thoughts on how the entire experience was for a maintenance perspective. So got plenty of lube in here. This is probably going to be going up just before the review and the maintenance video, but all in all, it was a good experience and I like it. I think this is probably one, like the Banter, that could end up in the collection for a long time because it's hard to find good companion knives that still offer almost a full 4-finger grip and that I like, but still have pretty good cutting performance. Last but not least, is no surprise to me because I really do love this knife and I actually carry it only in an organizer. I never put this one in the 5th pocket, and that is going to be my USA made tactile knife Bear. I think I said Bexar here recently when I had it in a companion carry video, but I meant to say Bear, and I know it's Bear. I think it's funny that I said Bexar when I actually know the difference. I did pick up their bead, their lanyard bead, which I really like. It has that tactile texturing to it as well. This has it. I'll bring it over here to the microphone. Don't know if you can hear that. I'll try to turn it up. That usually does work. Nice clip point, nice stone wash. This knife is done in Magna Cut, and again, I'll say for this particular knife, I don't think it's really going to be hard use. This edge will probably hold up for what I'm using this for, which is going to be a little bit of light food prep. I can use this easily. I have learned to cut into my apples, and then additionally getting into packages, envelopes, letters, cutting like loose string off of like my wife's shirt. And that's really about a good summary of what I'm typically using this for. And I love a well done, good looking, modern traditional slip joint. Really nice action on this, good walk and talk, just a really good knife. So those are my 3, 2, 1 in that order in case I wasn't specific before. I'm going to go ahead really quickly, get these out of the way, and then we'll jump into my top 5 carried knives for July. All right, we are back. Just in case I forgot to mention it when I showed you the bear, this is the Hitch and Timber leather organizer. I did want to do leather, even though I have a lot of art company organizers that I really enjoy, but I just wanted for an all titanium carry loadout, and I have the pen and knife from Tactile, and then the Dapper Design Ion, which is a little bit of a smaller rechargeable titanium flashlight with a magnetic back. Just something a little bit different, a little bit nicer for this carry. I thought it would be very gentlemanly, and it gives me the option to stow it in the pocket if I have to wear some khakis. All right, let's go ahead and jump in to the top 5 carried knives. Number 5, and I am not going to do the reveal yet because I did modify one of the two, but it is an alternation between the clip point and the shark foot variant, and you probably already know what I'm talking about. So number 5 is my AD 20.5. The clip point variant is the 3V, exclusively available at Knife Center and still in stock, and I think they even have both the shark's foot and the clip point now. I think when it dropped I could only get the clip point, but it really didn't matter because I do want to keep a variant of each, and I like them both enough to justify having them in the inventory. But I wanted to switch it up because the other one had the purple haze fat carbon scale and backspacer, so I'm going to hold back on bringing out what I've done to modify the other one just yet because I want to dedicate its own video to that. But it is a combination of these two knives being carried in July specifically, so I'm going to put this at the top because I always bump the knife when I go to bring the others out. Number 5, the AD 20.5, really nice ergos. I am seeing that I'm getting fairly good performance out of the AUS 10A. I have stropped it up as I've used it, and it's remained fairly toothy with a compound strop, so really doing well. And the Shark Lock is performing really well. I'm very happy and highly recommend those Lynch Northwest deep carry pocket clips. It goes in and out of the pocket so good, but it still has enough tension to lock it in the pocket where you don't have to worry about it slipping out. So these are very recommendable. I like them. I know the AUS 10A at $160 seems like a lot, but remember that Shark Lock, and to manufacture it in Taiwan instead of China is a more expensive process. So you're supporting the manufacturing outside of a country that would be comparable to a U.S. production knife. And Demko himself said that he could not produce a better quality product or heat treat on the steels in-house for that money. It would be more expensive, which I think he should do a batch of 80 20.5s in the US and sell them for $250. Maybe put something different on it, maybe 154 cm, maybe put a 4V or a crew wear steel on it. I think people would pay for that. Let's keep going and talk about what the number 4 top carried knife for July was, and that is going to be my TW Price design, the Dawn. This is a M390 steel blade, which is very thin and slicey. This is a super slicey knife. Really nicely done. You got plenty of belly and a little dirty from where I've been using it. A little bit of adhesive there. I do use my knives. I also do clean them. I did walk and talk episode here where I was talking about where people ask, do you really use your knives? And I do. I just clean them, really, to summarize that entire video. Really nice titanium frame lock, which does have this texturing on it, but it's very low profile. I think the way that it shines and the lines and the shadowing make it look like it's really deep, but it's very low profile. You have nice standoffs in the back here. I like the way that they match the entire knife. You have milling on the inside for weight reduction. You have a very well done pocket clip, goes in and out of the pocket with no issues. You do kind of get the feeling when you're pulling it out. Going in, I'm not noticing as much, but it could be because that I'm kind of just pushing it down with the thumb and not really feeling it, whereas my hand's on the knife and the pocket clip, so I kind of feel that vibration as I'm pulling it out. But so far it doesn't seem to be chewing up the pocket, and again, these are knocked down so well, I don't think that's going to be an issue. I love the pop of color in the pivot. I did read where TW Price, gosh, I'm forgetting his first name, but he posted on his Instagram, if you follow him, he is going to be ordering another batch of these. He didn't realize how successful of a launch it was going to be, so he is going to reinvest the money off of this to get more of these in production. And then a lot of people were upset because there wasn't enough of the Damascus collar and pocket clip available. So he talked about that he was going to double or even triple, I think he said triple the size of that order. So he really appreciated the success and the support of the knife, and he is going to have Best Tech make even more. Really good lockup. I think my only request would be if there was a way to maybe just put a little bit more scalloping if it doesn't ruin the ergos or the design of the knife, or maybe even just have this raised up a little bit more, not knocked down so much, so that the ergos still felt good. With bigger hands, I just have a little bit of a hard time getting in there. It's not uncomfortable because it is knocked down, doesn't hurt my thumb, but it is just a little uncomfortable again for the larger hands. Having said that, this is about the size of the bug out in the 80-20.5. Feels good in hand, has plenty to grab onto, and this texturing is amazing. Like, I feel like they got that perfectly dialed in. I would not change that in my opinion. This is more to me a sharpening choil. You can get your finger on there, but really I'm not sure what you're going to be doing with the knife, as I realized that the sticker that I pulled off the blade is now on my finger. I don't know what you're going to do with this as far as the finger choil. Maybe if you have smaller hands, that's going to work. But for me, this is plenty good. If you wanted to, if you're going to do a push cut and you want to be as close to the blade as possible, you can put your finger over here. And because it is rounded fairly decent, it's not super uncomfortable. You can feel it, but it's not awful. So that was the number 4 top carried knife of July. And as you can see, very comparable to the 80-20.5 or a bug out. I like it because I think they start with the black wash blade around $250, $265, which is a great price for a very good done, for a very well done M390 blade and titanium frame lock with that, again, texturing that's on the blade that they did for the milling. That feels amazing. Really nice. That's a really recommendable knife. I would definitely follow him and keep up with him to see how quick Best Tech can get those out. Took about 6 months, so I would say 8 to 12 months you're going to probably see another batch of these come out. Don't forget about these knives though. They're really good, and I have a feeling that you'll see them probably refine that design. All right, let's keep it going. Coming in at number 3, no surprise at all to me, I really like this knife. It has really surprised me how much I am enjoying it. That is the WE Roxy 3 S35VN. I do have the black wash blade here. Really nice edge. I really love and dig the fact that they did this plunge grind like a Spyderco where it comes right up to the edge. You would just need to either tape off or be really careful if you go to reprofile this one. I am just stropping the edge of this knife because I'm not really pushing it beyond its limits at this point, but really good, nice and thick all the way out to the tip. It has a pretty strong tip. I'm not too worried about that breaking because it does round down and support the edge enough for the draw cuts. It does have a multitude of deployments. You have the fuller for what I refer to as the reverse flick, the thumb hole for the Spidey flick. I constitute that as the Spidey flick. Then you have the thumb hole, which again, sorry, the knife slipped out my hand. You have that thumb hole. Really works well. One thing that I do like also about the fact that it has that finger choil is while it does bump down and you can feel it hit a little bit because it'll come down fast, you don't have to worry about it cutting into your nail like some other knives. You do have a very nice front flipper. Works really well both with the thumb flick, roll, and the reach around, but you have to get your finger kind of back quick because it will kind of bump into it a little bit. Ergos on this are outstanding. Even though it seems like it's a very small knife, it actually works really nicely for all 4 fingers to fit because it has the dedicated forward finger choil, so it actually fits my hand really nice. It feels really comfortable. If you don't pay attention to the size, this knife really is sculpted to feel very comfortable in hand. I've actually used it for repeated cuts to kind of see what it feels like. It feels really good. The jimping out here is in a good spot, gives you nice control if you're trying to do something out on the edge for detailed work, and just looks good. I really like the way that it looks. The relief cut is so cut out, done well. If they could find a way to do something similar to what WE has done here with these scales, I mean, even if they got to make it just a tad bit thicker, I don't know. I think that would be awesome because it works really well. Very comfortable to go in there from the side. And you can also do like a Medford and just kind of go in from the top. And it's still going to give you plenty of space to get in there. Nice bronze back spacer with a matching pocket clip. Love the hardware on this. I think it's just a really awesome build. This was definitely one of my favorite knives for sure. I know it was not released this year, but I just got it this year, so I am catching up. Let me move these up just a little bit because I can tell I'm about to run out of space with needing 2 more knives to come out here. So you're probably wondering, what is number 2? Number 2 is going to be my recently acquired, even though I've already had this model for a while, but it is the Blade HQ exclusive M4 satin blade Shaman. Love this knife. Love the skinny scales on this knife. It really does make a huge difference with the skinny scales. The ergos are just completely transformed how it feels in hand. I love using this knife. It has a great edge. You really can't see the scarring too much, but I grab this one a lot to use and carry, especially because I carry at least 2 knives most of the time, so I'm able to rotate my other knives in with this one when I'm carrying it. I think last Saturday I had this and the Doug Ritter. That's right, the Doug Ritter, doing the whole red and black theme. Action is really good. It's nice and smooth. I did have to work a little bit to get it centered back up after I replaced the scales, but it was just a tad bit off when I got it from the factory, and that's usually because with these not being captive, you kind of got to play with the pivot a little bit and play with these screws, maybe loosen them on one side and tighten them on the other to kind of push and pull to get it lined up. Not a big deal. Considering these are mass produced, I expect things like that. I also have the CME, which is the compression lock made easy. This is manufactured by OCD for EDC. Really nice. I think this one is the G10 if I recall correctly, or the G Mascus. I wanted the red and black to match. I do have the MXG deep carry pocket clip. I actually am a fan of Lynch and MXG. I love the fact that they're manufactured here in the US. Great titanium pocket clips with a multitude of finishes. I like to alternate where I buy when I can. Lynch is the only one that I know of that has an aftermarket pocket clip, which blows my mind. I'm surprised MXG and some other manufacturers haven't come out with a pocket clip for the AD 20.5 as popular it is and as much as people are trying to find stuff for that knife. But this is really good, a nice work knife, gives you really good ergonomics. It gives you, again, whatever hand position you want to be in, even with the factory scales. This feels so good in hand, and it's really fidgety, performs well. I don't know what I can tell you about M4. M4 is just one of my favorite steels. I know it is not corrosive resistant, but I really do like that, and you can really tell we just took a big jump, right? EDC friendly, EDC friendly, EDC friendly, pushing like the limits for me for an EDC knife, because I companion carry, right? Like this is in the pocket with this stowed down in the pocket. I got to be, you know, careful that I can carry this and still have the clearance with it closed to not intentionally bang them against each other. I'm not trying to damage the knife on purpose. If it happens, it happens. But one thing that I've learned to do recently when I'm carrying the bigger carries is I will switch out my wallet to the right pocket, which is funny because I actually have the smock in the pocket today, and I'm kind of doing that. As you can see, this takes a little bit less space, so it ends up being just a little bit lower because the pin adds height, and then I have a little bit more space on the side here, so kind of rotating that has really helped me with the gear that I stow down in the pocket. And I actually do use the majority of the gear that I stow down there. The flashlight probably not the least out of everything, even though I still use it a good deal. Anyway, sidetracked, so sorry. Last but not least, I'm very excited to talk about this one because this is a grail purchase that I finally picked up after chasing it for a year. So don't feel bad if you have a hard time or you feel upset that you're not quick enough to get on this particular buy, or any buy for that matter, of a knife that is really limited production run and highly sought after, so hard to get. It took me a year to finally catch one of these, and it's not the exact variant that I wanted, but I still really like this variant of it. So this one here is the Reeve Umenzon. When I talk about not the exact variant, I wouldn't have chased the Tonto first, But I am finding that I really do enjoy the Tonto. I am not looking forward to when I have to reprofile or resharpen this one. I might actually just send it to Chris Reeve, because Tontos are a bit of a bitch to do. They're not awful, but you just got to sharpen, and then you got to change the angles, and then where it gets hard here is making sure that you sharpen without leaning too much in towards the tip here if you want to keep the 2 points or 2 tips here on the edge of the knife. But what can I say about this that you probably don't already know? It has really good ergos, a really thin hollow ground blade that is super slicey, but it's still a thick enough stock to actually be a good hard use work knife. It is scalloped instead of crowned like the Inkosi that I had, which makes it comfortable to be here, but it's still fairly boxy, so you're kind of flush on that. You don't have this scallop on the Inkosi, you just have the jimping, which again way back here. Not quite sure why jimping on knives end up being so far back. I don't think it helps with gripping for push cuts, and if I'm doing detailed work, I'm more than likely going to come out to the scallop section here. A little bit of a hot spot here when you're holding the knife in hand. I do feel it kind of hit the inside of my rather large hands, but it's really just, you see there where it's kind of just poking it. It's knocked down enough to where that's not really an issue, and I do appreciate this actual design as far as pushing out that frame lock, because it does let me get that out, and you can see I'm still breaking this one in, but it is getting fairly smooth. But that lets me push it out without having to dig in, and you can see they did that because it locks up here, but because they use the detent ball as both the lock point, which is one of the few knives to do that, which allows it to actually be disengaged immediately. I mean, that is disengaged, which is awesome. But when you actually look at where it locks up, it's locking up at about 40 to 50%. You can see it there. So it's deceptive when you see the lock bar going in that far, but that's because the detent ball is kind of in the middle of that lock bar. In case you didn't know that, I did go ahead and buy the Chris Reeve barrel with the lanyard and lanyard bead. I thought the little bit of blue popped, and I like that a lot. It's not over the top, and you know, it's his, so it still kind of holds the value and integrity of it being a Chris Reeve knife. That's really all I can really say about it. Build quality is awesome. The texturing that they do with the coating they throw on the titanium is really good. Not over the top, but very tacky and very easy to grip. The milled out lines, really easy to grip. Feels good in hand, really nice size, and as you can see here, roughly about the same size as a Shaman, just a tad bit longer back off the heel. So really awesome knife. Let me know what's been your favorite to carry here recently, or what you picked up new that you're really liking and enjoying and excited about. I love to hear that stuff in the comments. Out of what I carried here, what was your favorite? If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to leave a like, consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed, and hit that notification bell so you get alerts whenever future content drops. Links are down in the description for certain things. I know there's certain things that are not going to be available, like the price. That's probably not going to be down there. Shaman's going to be hard, so check the restock or new arrival links that I have down that are always in all of my videos. You just got to scroll down through and look for new arrivals, and that's how you'll be able to find out. I would also recommend signing up for alerts when they arrive. Those do help when I'm trying to get something or find something. Those do help me a whole lot. Thanks for tuning in. I hope all of you have a fantastic week, and until next time, not sure how I'm going to do this. Peace.